guys, so I wanted to come on here, and as you can see, it's around the holiday time and we have our tree up. Today's topic is going to be about staying on track or how to get through the holidays during, when you're having a fitness journey or you're just trying to live a healthy lifestyle. So I know that, going through holidays can be so tough, whether you are trying to lose weight, whether you are tracking your macros, whether you're dealing with some eating issues. I know that it can be so hard. I have been on all three of those places, and sometimes it can just get really frustrating and you don't really know how to go about it. I wanted to give you guys some tips on things that I have done or what I find helpful if you're struggling around this time of year and around the holidays. So the first thing I want to say is don't restrict yourself too much. I went through a really hard time with this when I was dealing with my ED and stuff like that, and it was very hard to go through that time where you're focusing so much on food that you can't even focus on who you're with and being around family. And that is the most important thing I want you to understand is holidays are to make memories with family, and don't take time to stress so much about the food, and you don't want to remember how stressed you were about what you were eating, and if you were perfect that day. You want to remember the memories that you make with your family, because it's not always going to be that way, and you're not always going to be around those people. Those people aren't going to be around forever, and you don't want to look back and remember how miserable you were or how isolated you were. That is one of the biggest regrets that I have from the past couple of years, where I really dealt with stressing so much about food. The second tip I want to tell you is to think about portions. A lot of us tend to think that just because it's the holidays, that means it's time to go willy-nilly and just let yourself eat all the food. And there's nothing wrong with eating the food. It is just, you can still eat it in moderation. There's no reason to binge on everything. It is okay to portion things out. So think about, is this a normal size that I would have on a normal day? Really think about what you're putting on your plate and thinking about, okay, how much realistically do I need to eat? I don't have to be completely stuffed when I'm done. The third thing I want to say is think about how you're making your plate. So I know we've talked a lot about nutrition on this channel and your proteins, fats, and carbs and things. So when you get to the dinner table at the holiday, think about what you're putting on your plate. Think about, okay, I know I need a protein source, so what can we have? Get a little bit of meat, or if you're vegan, get the beans, all the things, whatever you like to use for alternatives to your protein, tofu, whatever. Then think about, okay, I need carbs and fats, so maybe you want to take your carbs and go for something like a sweet potato. Think about putting vegetables on your plate next, because even though it is the holidays, you still want to make sure that you are, giving yourself all the good foods and stuff. So think about doing your protein and then go for the vegetables and think about putting that on. And then, for your fats, a little bit more protein. You may have some cheese or something, or you may want some mashed potatoes if you're wanting something a little more indulgent. Then you can think about, after you get your protein and your veggies, then think about, okay, now what do I want to have that is going to be like the comfort food that satiates you? So there's really nothing wrong with it, but just being careful about your portions, because you can have the mashed potatoes and you can have your serving, or you can have your serving, and there's really no reason to have the mashed potatoes this big, So yeah, think about how you're building your plate, and think about all the things that you've learned during your fitness journey of getting your protein, carbs, fats, everything in. Next thing I would say is, what exactly are you having? Are you wanting to eat dessert? If you want to eat dessert, maybe you should think about that when you're making your plate. So, if you're going to make your plate and well, I want that piece of cake after this, so maybe let's not fill up so much on all the other food, the main course, because then you're not going to be hungry. If you're like me, I don't like having that feeling. That is what leads to the guilt. And that's when you start feeling bad and you're like, I need to compensate. I need to do all of this. Just think about before, okay, I really, really, really love the one dessert that my grandma makes every year, and this is the only time she makes it, so I want to save some room for that. Having that kind of mindfulness, I guess you would say, is really important to helping you get through the holidays. Sorry if the lighting changed. I tried to get it where it was focusing on me a little bit better. So the next thing I want to say, I don't even know what number this is if you have any family members that are very vocal about your food, I know I've had that before, whether it's with not eating enough or eating too much, tell them, hey, That really affects me. I don't comment on your food. Please mind your own business. There's nothing wrong with telling a family member, you know, you are overstepping your boundary, and that really affects me. I would appreciate if you would not comment on how much I'm eating, how little I'm eating. It is okay to tell a family member that they have no right to comment on anything. That is perfectly fine. And don't be afraid to speak up either. Or even, you know, if you just tell like your sister or your mom or your dad, hey, can you just make sure that they don't say anything? And if they do, if you're one of the ones like me that is scared to say something to somebody, you can tell them, you know, would you mind letting them know that that is really hurtful to me? And that one really, really helps if you are having issues with eating, because I know that was a huge thing for me, and my sister was there to do that. So that one really helps. And the last tip that I'm going to give you guys is enjoy yourself. I know that it can be very hard when you're thinking so much about, I don't want to lose all this progress, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that, you know, am I going to eat too much and then it's going to gain all the weight back? That doesn't happen. One day will not mess up your progress, I promise you. You may take in more, you may eat more, and that's okay. Your body is going to burn that because it's not used to having that much food anyway. The only time that you're going to have an issue with gaining all the weight back is if you continuously eat that much every single day forever and ever. One day is literally nothing. It won't hurt you, I promise. One day is worth the memories that you will make. That is one big thing that I'm still working on myself. I'm not even gonna lie and sit here and be like, I'm perfect. No, I still have thoughts and issues with eating sometimes, and I'm still working through that, but I am much better than where I was, especially during a time where, you know, we have a lot of different things going on in the world and holidays aren't looking the same. It is so important to focus on yourself and your mental health during this times. Just take the time to really just be with your loved ones around you, because you don't know what the future holds, and that is the main thing that I'm trying to focus on this year. We can do this together. I love you all. If you have any questions or you just need to talk, always feel free to reach out to me, especially on my Instagram. That's linked down below. But with that said, Instagram is right here. If you ever need to reach out, feel free to. I love you all, and my description will also have everything linked down below, all my social medias. You can follow me there, and I love you. Have a great holiday, and take the time to just enjoy yourself.